Greetings, everyone. You have a ticket? You don't have one? No problem, my friends. Hit the subscription button below. Come on in. And if you don't hit the button, guess what? You got a free pass for the day. Come on anyway. This message today is to men. And women, if you want to listen in on it, feel free to. But this message is to the men. And, as always, my brothers, what I'm saying? In particular, my Israelite brothers, those of us who are the seed, what I'm saying, of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob in particular, the true bloodline of Yahuwah, okay? As you always know, we have to resort to our history book, all right? Some people call it, the Bible, but those of us who have coming to the understanding of who we are, we know better. It's our history book, all right? So, and I put that up just for a second because I wanted to read something, then I'm going to get right into the title of this video. So this is not going to be long. Promise you that, brothers, okay? Just stick it out with me for a second. Right here, Psalms 144. I want you to write that down. Psalms 144, brothers. And every now and then when you need a reminder about your masculinity, this will help you, okay? And it's just one verse. It's easy. 144, Psalms 144, verse 1. It says, "Praise be to Elohim, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle." Again, praise be Elohim, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. And you might say, okay, DFG, what does that have to do with this message? Well, everything. I think I answered my own question. You wouldn't ask me that question because my lead-in kind of, clears that up for us. I hope I'm not looking too dark here, but if I am, forgive me. It's a lighting issue, okay? But I want to share something with you right quick. Couple of videos just to remind you of something, and then I'm going to share some additional information, and then I'm going to close. I'm going to wrap this thing up in a nice little bow for you, brothers, so that you have, something that you can share and you can resort to, or nothing else you can keep in your library. Download it just from time to time as a reminder. Don't always believe what you hear. Okay? Here we go here. Let me start off here. Okay. Remember this commercial? Okay. Uh-oh, sorry. Let's get it. Let's go.
Bullying. The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity. Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie. Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. In ways big
Yo, men, we're angry. Oh, shit.
and small.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
So how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
Now, you remember that commercial, right, guys? And I'm sure you do. And a lot of us men took offense to that because we saw this as, wait a minute now, you're throwing all men in the same little box, implying that all of us are somehow or another these sexually aggressive, violent beasts who somehow, want to prey on innocent females. And Gillette used that platform, you know what I'm saying, to launch its hashtag #MeToo movement without any regard to whether or not it was true. And I'm going to back this up again, guys, through our history book, just to give you some additional insight on the lie. Now, here's part 2. Now, you think that after Gillette had pushed this out in January, that they would have stopped. But no, Gillette had more for us. Check this one out. Now, here's the next one. And I want you to listen to the last part of what these guys are talking about, too, by the way.
Social issues.
These guys.
Their new ad showcases Samson Brown as he does his first shave with his dad.
Now, Samson Brown is a transgender man, just so you know.
I'm still trying to figure out what kind of man that I want to become. I always knew I was different.
A transgender woman who
that there was a term
transitioning into a man.
I went into my transition just wanting to be happy. I'm glad I'm at the point where I'm able to shave. South, north, east, west, never in a hurry. Right.
Now, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Shaving is about being confident. Oh, you're doing fine. You are doing fine.
I'm at the point in my manhood where I'm actually happy. It's not just myself transitioning, it's everybody around me transitioning.
Now listen to what these guys say. Not him, the commentators.
Yeah, so Samson wrote on Facebook after the commercial was released, I shot this ad for Gillette and wanted to include my father, who's been one of my greatest supporters throughout my transition, encouraging me to be confident and live authentically as my best self. With the help of Gillette, I was able to share an important milestone in every man's life with my father. This moment overwhelmed me during filming, and again today, seeing the ad since it's been launched. I'm confident that this ad will encourage many of my trans siblings and fill them with the knowledge that our existence in this world can be filled with love and support we deserve. Now, a lot of people are commenting on the Facebook post, and you think you're going to see the trolls come out. There's actually pretty much like full support for this, and people are actually commenting, wow, I can't believe that the comments are in full support of this, which they should be, but we know the world that we live in, especially in social media.
And woke, I'm still on the fence about woke advertising. They're still selling razors. It is, right. It's taking a social conscious for profit, right? So it's not lost on me. It's the same thing with Nike. All of a sudden everybody loved Nike and we forgot all the terrible things that they had done, right? So it's like, this is a for profit. You are being sold something. And they're doubling down on their sort of, woke advertising. Right. The first round that they did with the guys and the kids fighting.
Okay. I'm going to stop right there, guys. All right, on that. I think you get the gist of what I'm saying on that. Well, let me get to the rest of this, okay?
Talk about and who they were trying to talk to. And they've come.
Now, Gillette just announced. Now, check this out. You heard these guys, how great this was and how proactive this was. And, you always got the impression how courageous it was, right? Although, again, as I stated in the beginning of this video, a lot of us men were extremely offended by what it was implying. Two boys wrestling is toxic. Men standing behind a grill is toxic. A man looking at a beautiful woman and wanting to go behind her, to introduce himself is toxic. You follow me? You have to step back and you say, what are you guys trying to imply here? You know what I'm saying? Well, you could have used a man, all these young men who don't have fathers in their lives, who really do need a man, who really need a man in their life to teach them how to shave. But the best they could come up with, Gillette it is to get a transgender woman, all right, to show shaving techniques. And it did not escape me that they used, Hebrew Israelites, in their model, in this instance. Pushing that agenda again in our community seems, what in my opinion, full intention. But I digress, okay? I don't want to take away from the rest of this. Well, here's where we get into the meat of it, guys. Check this out. All of this publicity about, how fantastic, it was that they did. Well, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. How about this? Okay, and I'm going to read through this fast too, guys, because I really want to get it all in. Gillette shifting the spotlight after losing $8 billion amid toxic masculinity backlash. Just a few weeks after Procter & Gamble reported a sobering $8 billion write-down, Gillette has officially called off its war on toxic masculinity. The embattled brand has announced that it is now going to shift the spotlight from social issues to local heroes. While the brand is admitting that it's reversing course on the social issue, issues, Gillette is presenting its new focus as simply a return to what it always has done. We continue to represent men at their best, Gillette said in the statement. And I'm not going to read all this because I can, but you can look it up yourself, guys. Just Google it up. You know what I'm saying? Gillette, lost $8 billion, and you'll see the article that I'm reading from, okay? But it goes to show you that when wickedness is abound, you follow me? If you take a stand against that wickedness, ultimately that wickedness is going to be defeated. And I know many of you are saying, well, how does it get defeated? It gets defeated by actions, by men and women, if it applies and where it applies. When you take a stand and say, you know what, this is wrong. This is wrong, and we're not going to support it. This is manipulating, circumstances. This is manipulating, the time we're in to take advantage of it, to push agendas that are going totally against what is, in the best way I can say it, the natural order of the things of Yahuwah. That's the best way I can say it. Going against the very nature of Yahuwah. In the book of Proverbs, again, in our history book, let me share it says, and I have it highlighted. Write this one down, Proverbs 14 and 12. It says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof leads to death. Now think about that. This thing that they're pushing, this LGBT and all of these agendas that they're pushing, it seems right to a lot of people. It feels right to a lot of people. After all, as they're selling to, it's just love. Everybody have a right to choose and love who they want to love. Well, according to our history book, there's a time that you can think that is right, and it's absolutely wrong. So just because you think that is right or you feel that is right does not make it right. And that whole toxic masculinity, emasculating men, telling men to somehow change the nature of how Yahuwah created a male to be, a provider and a protector. That, oh no, that's not the way, that's not the natural order of a thing. Taking, women and transition them into men and then taking men to teach them how to shave. That's the natural order of a thing. If it was intended for a woman to shave her face, Yahweh would have given her a full beard. And by the way, even though my face is shaving, that's something that Yahweh also has some directions on. The brothers know what I'm talking about. Okay, but let me go one more step further in this, guys, because, it should be line up on line, precept on precept. I don't want anybody to say, well, he's manipulating the scripture. I told you, he said, teach my hands, to war and my fingers to fight. I've shared that with you, Psalm 144. I showed you Proverbs 14 and 12 says, that there's a way that seemeth right to a man, so your opinions don't matter. The facts have to matter. Well, let me close it up with one more scripture. This is 2 Corinthians. Now, I'm going to put this up as close as I can put it up. Snapshot that if you like. Then you can read the highlighted part on your own. But I'm going to read it to you right now myself. It says, do not be deceived. Now, you just heard over in Proverbs, it says there's a way that seemeth right, but the end thereof is the ways of death. Now you hear right here saying, do not be deceived. That's deception. When you think something is right, is wrong, and is wrong, that is called being deceived. It says, be not deceived, neither the sexually immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor male prostitutes, nor thieves, nor greedy, nor the drunkard, nor slanderers, nor homosexuals, nor swindlers will enter the kingdom of heaven. In other words, it's saying when you do those things, you pronounce damnation upon yourself. I didn't write it. It's right here in our history book. And my Israelite brothers and sisters, if the world don't want to believe it, don't worry about it. You're not of the world. You're not supposed to go along with the way the world wants to go. Yeshua once said, broad is the path and wide is the gate that leadeth to destruction, and many were going to follow that way. But straight is the gate and narrow is the path that leadeth to righteousness, and few there be that find it. So we found it. We know the right way. Stand for what you know is right, men, and be men. Therefore, we warn